Hi, this is Doug Brunke, founder and CEO of Global Chamber, and this is League of Extraordinaries. It's members only, so everybody here in this call will be members. The purpose of what this conversation is to you shut off my there we go. There we go. Whoops. You probably can't hear an echo now. There we go. Oh, and I'm actually on the video. Okay, not the greatest smooth start, but today started really well, and hopefully it did for you as well. And now we're going to finish up with basically a speed networking on the business side, and we ask two main questions. Who do you want to meet, and how else can we help? And people like Jacob know that one of the great things about being part of the Global Tribe is members tend to be very giving and thoughtful, and ways that they may be able to help other members. We'd love to hear that as well. So let's start with so Priya. Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Hi, team.
Hey, Luis, how are you? Good to see you as well. So Priya Mishra in Sydney, thank you for joining. And so you're part of the reason why we do this event, at this time of the afternoon in the US, so that we can catch you in the morning. And it probably is around 11 o'clock in Sydney?
Yes, 11 o'clock. And thank God this is happening. This is first time I'm able to join, because most of the chamber meeting I can't join. I'm a member, but I've never joined the chamber meeting. So it's kind of my first meeting.
Wow. Okay. So we probably should start with you then, if you don't mind. That would be great. So these meetings happen twice a month, the second Tuesday and the final Friday, and we try to mix up. We used to do like every other month, but now it's been probably at least 3 or 4 months since we did this time. So we will in 2024 do this a lot more. So let's start with you, Priya, and really what we're looking for, since we're going to have, it looks like actually quite a number of people signed up for this, and we already have around 15. So we'll probably only have about 3 or 4 minutes per person. And what we're looking for primarily is who you want to meet. But beyond that, give us some sensibility, of course, around what products and services you provide, what problems you have, and then anything else that you'd like to share. So who would, Priya is a member in Australia, based in Sydney. Who would you like to meet, and how else can we help?
Sure. So right now we have a couple of services. We have been in business for 10 years. We recently restructured our business, and we are currently promoting fractional BDM service, business development, which is very unique for Australian market. I haven't found anybody promoting the business development fractional BDM job. For the businesses, we are focusing on product-based company. If you know anybody who is into the product selling and wants to establish the Australian or any Oceanic or Asian country, we can help them in terms of actually business growth. My other services that we are actually doing digital media only for financial institutions. That's the 2 product I'm promoting.
Okay, what's the name of your company, and what is BDM?
Business development manager. So I'm actually fractional BDM for your company, and my company name is Corporality, and we are actually registered in a different country, and also trademarked, and also
Okay. And so who would you like to meet? What are the companies? Where are they located? What size? What market segments? What would be an ideal best customer for you?
So for me, any company who wants to grow in Australia, we can help them as a business development manager in Australia on behalf of any part of the world, right? So that's one of my ideal customer would be. Other than that, we can help businesses to do the business development in Asian countries, especially Singapore and New Zealand and other oceanic country here, because it's too far from US. So we are here, this part of the world. We can help you. That's one. And the businesses should be at least $500,000 business so that they can invest in a consistency of business growth. We will be working on for them.
Okay. Sounds good. So Eddie Geisel comes to mind as a connection. And is Cesar on the call? It's pretty late there. And Elisa, are you on the call? Really? Okay. So it's a funny time in the Philippines. So thank you.
We're all in the call, Doug. That's great to know. And Priya, I have someone for you. It's is a member in the DC area, and the lady that covers. I mean, there's a lady that only covers North America and Australia, and she sits in DC. So I'm pretty sure there's something they might be interested in. And I know she's traveling to Australia in January. So I'm going to be making that connection very soon.
I also saw that there was either the state of Maryland or the state of Virginia is in Australia right now. So I'll figure that out. I saw that in the last few days, and so we'll see if there could be some interesting angle there. Does anybody have any questions for Priya? And hearing none, Priya, thank you for joining us today. And you set things off on a really good foot. So thank you for that. And one of the things that we do in this meeting is we get everybody connected through LinkedIn by having a post. And since it's late here, probably tomorrow, with all of you connected in LinkedIn so that you can hyperlink. But in the meantime, feel free to connect with each other on LinkedIn and to look at each other there as well. Let's go next to one of the longest term members here in this call. That's Gary Covert. I think, Gary, you were like one of the original members of Global Chamber. I've known you forever. And Gary is someone who gives folks and leadership teams the ability to be better leaders. And he's also got a variety of other things. You diversified into some really cool areas. So Gary, thank you for renewing your membership, and look forward to learning more who you would like to meet and how we can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Doug. It's also been a pleasure to see how you've grown this community. So I would say the way that I help people is helping people be better leaders and better teams, and effectively grow their business. I really help them improve the numbers that they care about the most. At the end of the day, they tend to be cash flow or net profit. But as you know, there's lots of things that need to go into that. So I really help a team focus on alignment, making good decisions together, and executing. So I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, but I would like to meet CEOs of mid-market companies. For me, a mid-market company would be $15 to $20 million US to $200 million, generally something like that. I work with Fortune 500 clients too, but that's kind of a sweet spot for me. And then for more multinational companies would be the business unit leader in a multinational. So I've worked with very large Fortune 500 companies, and usually work at either the division president level or the sales leader level, somebody, chief revenue officer level, something like that. So a little bit just about me is, and the kind of global perspective is, I've done business obviously in the US nationally, but my undergraduate is Japanese. It's still rusty, but functional. So I haven't done business with Japan in a long time, but I did work with a Japanese company for 12 years. And I was the first outside sales representative that was not Japanese within that organization. And they've subsequently really crushed it and doing quite well. And I feel like I had a small part to play in that. So that's a little bit about me and the kind of people that I'm interested in connecting with.
If I remember correctly, you speak you at one time certainly spoke Japanese, right?
I did, and it's still rattling around in this bald head of mine. Yes.
Very
Sometimes
good.
it'll come out.
Anybody have any questions for Gary? And hearing none, feel
wait a
free.
minute. I absolutely do. It probably best offline, Gary, but I'm guessing there's a methodology in the process you use in helping those clients.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we'd just like to trade notes on methodology. I'll put my contact information in the chat.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually, hearing Gary's conversation today, I was thinking of you, Bill, as a logical person for him to know, and I'm not sure you guys know each other. So, Bill, do you mind going next?
No, not at all. And it's kind of a carry on to that. 30 years of consulting, helping companies improve their business results and the lives of their employees. Think of it as moving folks from hired hands to trusted partners. Most of the work, middle market, Gary, very much like you do, but a few folks, Southwest Airlines, Harley Davidson, Capital One, BHP, Billiton in Australia, and so forth. And that's kind of where we've been. We just announced 2 weeks ago that we're initiating what we call rewarding roll-ups. So if you're familiar with private equity roll-ups, remove private equity. We're doing the roll-up. So there's all the wealth that private equity is really good at extracting on those things. We're going to be keeping with the owners, the employees, the customers, and so forth. So that's a way we're now applying all the tools, research, insights that we've had over the last 30 years. It's like we've been warming up for 30 years to get into this. And as far as I'm concerned, the thing that, besides, anytime Doug's around anywhere, I want to be at the meeting. So that's just like, period. I guess, yeah, Jacob, thank you for the applause there. I'm a Doug groupie. I suspect you are too. We have a number of things going in various markets. We're strong in the United States. We've got some activities going on in the EU and Australia. We're really light, thus far at least, in South America, and we're just getting started with some things in India. So if somebody knows of a company or companies that might be interested in this sort of concept, then that would be great. And I'll put the link to the Inc. article also in the chat, so you can actually take a look. We're being very open source about this. We're saying each step of the way, we're laying out, this is exactly what we're doing. Again, it's we've been preparing for this for about 2 years, launched 2 weeks ago, and the initial response has been really great. So that's what we're about.
Congratulations. Anything related to employees and connection to the leadership and the value that can be created there, Bill is the guy. So thank you, Bill. Any questions for Bill?
Yeah, I think this is a question for offline, Bill, but maybe we can have a discussion around India thing, because I'm a registered company in India and I have some great connections there. So maybe we can have a discussion and see if I can help you in any ways.
That would be great. I would tell you that I just 3 weeks ago did a presentation to 250 MBA students from the Management Institute of India, which you would know of. I was a guest lecturer, so that was brand new to me. But yeah, I would love to have that conversation. From my perspective, India is probably a more important market than the United States, for a whole variety of kind of obvious reasons, if you think about it. So thank you.
I mean, it's a great time to touch the India. It's a almost 7% GDP growth in India. So it's the highest GDP growth in the world right now. So obviously it is a good time. And in India, everything happens in bulk. So 250 is a bulk number.
and no one in the United States recognizes that India is the largest democracy in the world, but I noticed.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, I guess, Doug, I should plug. Tomorrow I'm doing the book thing with a couple of your folks. I wrote a book about this called Partners on the Payroll, and we're doing a little I mean, Doug, you're probably better at describing whatever we're doing tomorrow. I'm just like sitting in.
Yeah, tomorrow is the book author program, which is also in the afternoon U.S. time, so it's available for Christelle Damien's in Australia as well. I think it's 10 a.m. Sydney time. So we get 3 authors who are interviewed about their books, and get tips and techniques and inspiration. And Bill's going to be one of those. And then there's another one, very famous author and a bookstore owner, Barbara. So famous, I forgot her last name. I should know it, but her husband's name is different, and I've worked with them for many years. It's the Poison Pen Bookstore, which is the most famous mystery bookstore in the world. And she ends up reading 300 books a month.
Wow.
Barbara Peterson, I think, is her name. So I've for years tried to get my brain around how somebody could do that, but apparently she does, and she's brilliant, and she remembers actually what's said. So that's tomorrow, right about this same time. I put behind me a wedding I went to last weekend in Malibu. So I was thinking of Charles Brooks, because I think, Charles, you're nearby there, right? You're like in Oxnard or in that area. So I got to run up the Coast Highway and went to this wedding of Gunjan Bagla's daughter, Anshka, and her husband, Aaron, and I think they're kind of somewhere behind me there. And the food was amazing. So not to get diverted from OFX, but Charles, that's your part of the world, isn't it? How can we help you?
It is, sir. First of all, thank you for sending me the invite. Good to see you. Yes, I'm with OFX. Yes, I am in Southern California. Yes, I live a mile or so from the beach. Great golf weather right now. So on that front, we are a global FX provider. So we do have real estate professionals as clients, and then under that umbrella, you got a lot of snowbirds who are moving to places like Arizona or Florida, coming from Canada or wherever. And the movement of money, whether it be the euro, the pound to USD, or CAD to USD, it's the last thing that gets thought about. And our group forms partnerships and alliances with corporations like Google, Adobe, smaller companies, or just individuals who are looking to transfer monies at costs that are much lower than your typical bank relationship. As I said, I'm on the partnership side, alliances side. I have made some great segues. Thanks to Doug and the membership here. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. We'd love to be able to talk to you, get you set up to help you with those clients you may have that are both consumer and or corporate.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any questions?
Happy holidays. Happy holidays, everybody.
Which Thanksgiving, you mean, next week?
Thanksgiving and going forward, yes.
This is the stretch we're in right now, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
we are in the stretch run. Any questions for Charles? Or do you have any ideas for Charles? That's another aspect.
Totally open to ideas. How we can be more effective in reaching you guys' clientele.
So this might be a little wacky and somewhat, maybe more not wacky, more leading edge. But so I work with a client that has this very innovative software where he is converting mobile minutes directly to currency, and he has a platform that's able to do that. And so not that might be too much for this this conversation, but just wanted to almost just put it in your mind as something to look into, just with how big that prepaid mobile market is. And this platform is very innovative, and we're working on getting it to market.
Awesome. That's good to know. I know that there is a lot of what we call API integration efforts going on internally. A lot of that's based out of our home office in Sydney, Australia. So that's in Priya's backyard. And that once some of those integrations come down the pipe, we foresee more opportunities in that, as far as, integrating software with small businesses and the like. Obviously, there's got to be touch points within that integration that matches what we are able to do. And from a compliance standpoint, we're very conservative, and we want to make sure that that's on par too before anything is done. But Mr. Jacob, you're spot on.
Thanks.
Something
Thank you,
we
Charles.
are looking at globally.
Thank you.
Very good. You mentioned about real estate folks, and so that opens up some doors as well. So I have some ideas there. Thank you for sharing. Let's go to, there's a couple of new members here, and one of them is kind of an old and new member with a new company, Ricardo Platt, zooming in from Tucson, Arizona, near the Mexico border. And his company works with companies in the semiconductor space. And so, Ricardo, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for joining Global Chamber. Who would you like to meet? How can we help?
Thanks, Doug. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here. Thank you. As Doug was kind of say, we work, among other things, with the semiconductor space. We are an engineering company founded here in Tucson a handful of years ago. We have a couple areas of focus. Most of them are around electronics engineering, specifically radio frequency. With the semiconductor companies, what we have is a platform for packaging semiconductors in glass, which is a very innovative technology that allows integration in 3 dimensions for sensors, for chip packages, for a number of different applications, both on the communication side, on the detection side, on the sensor side. So around that swim lane, we're interested in connecting with folks in the defense sector, in the aerospace sector, in the space sector. That's a particular value out of that. We do have some export control considerations because it is fairly new technology. So we do have some export controls around the technology. The other space in which we've been working very diligently is kind of a more integrated level of hardware from what I just described, and that is network infrastructure or components for telecom, whether that's commercial or defense or satellite. So one of the things that we've done over the past handful of years is develop a fairly interesting suite of products, nominally for commercial 5G, the FR2, the high frequency 5G, including a very novel antenna around which we have quite a bit of IP that, among other things, allows about a 10x savings in power and OPEX and operating expenses over state of the art right now in base stations for millimeter wave. So that's the if you guys are in the States, you're familiar with Verizon's ultra wideband service, which is millimeter wave. Our antenna is a completely different product architecture that offers about a 10x savings in OPEX over it. We also have a suite of repeaters for the higher frequencies for 5G as well that are, like I said,
who would you like to meet?
So
Tell
on the
us
glass side,
who the person is.
On the glass side, I'm specifically interested in decision makers at defense or semiconductor or space and aero companies that are interested in doing a pilot project that we can connect to that has a relatively short path to production, right? And that would be around integrating circuits in 3 dimensions to allow for miniaturization and higher performance. On the telco side, certainly operators or installers of networks, that one is less limited. There are less concerns around export, not that there aren't, but around the commercial telco side, we have less restrictions or less considerations to take into account around the export controls. Certainly Australia and India are markets of interest. We do have some inroads in Australia already with the repeater products and the antenna products. But for telco carriers or servicers, whether they're resellers or network operators, we have an interest in connecting to those as well.
Okay. So I think Cesar, like Suzuki-san, I would assume Japan is. Are you open to Japan?
We are, yes, in general, as long as that really is the final market, right? The end
Okay.
destination, and it's
Yeah,
not an issue
very likely.
for export controls.
So Suzuki-san in Tokyo, and then Gunjan again in India, or in LA actually. Would you mentioned India for the types of products you're involved with? He'll know some folks for you. So
Wonderful, thank you.
We'll get those headed your way. You mentioned, and it's interesting that there's like a technology theme here, also very testosterone theme here going on here. So Priya, I think you're the only gal here, so that's amazing. Usually we have.
I just realized that. Yeah.
Before we go there, just a quick note. Ricardo, how many employees do you have?
Not quite mid-market just yet. We're at about a couple dozen employees so far.
And how fragmented is the industry, your competitors?
It depends on which swim lane you're talking about, whether it's the telco space or the component space.
So the simple point that I wanted to make is the completed industry roll-up. I guess you're never always completed because you're always adding stuff. But we're civil engineers. They're based in the Midwest. We don't have a presence in your particular niche. And so if you get a chance, you may have like completely no interest in this whatsoever, but MSA started this like 20 some odd years ago, and they were considerably smaller then than they are now. So it's also sort of a succession plan thing. So enough said, but that if that's of interest, let's connect. Thank you. Absolutely. Love to chat.
So let's now go inland a bit to Michigan, and Jeff Allure is someone who lives in one of my hometowns nearby Rochester Hills, Michigan, and the company is in the cloud and helps people get to the cloud. And Jeff, I don't know how you're doing it, but every post I see of yours in LinkedIn has like 300 followers. So you're going to have to give us some sort of education of how that happens. Is it just that you're an extraordinary person?
Doug, I think I'm one of the original members of LinkedIn, to be honest.
Wow.
I mean, so I have a pretty big following. Yeah. So
amazing. Yeah. And cloud is a hot topic. And so
it is.
So,
yeah.
So congratulations on your work.
Guys, I'm new here with Global Chamber. Had an opportunity to meet with Doug about a month ago, I think, and started conversations around this, and definitely felt some synergies between what direction he was going and things we're trying to build. My background, I'm formerly with Amazon Web Services, spent 5 years with AWS, and now working for a company called, you read that or not, Avahi, which is a cloud partner of AWS. All right, so we're called an advanced tier partner. So what we do, and it's real quick commercial here, is we focus on really cloud adoption and migration. We're a consulting firm, cloud migration, adoption, specifically other pillars would be data analytics, helping people to better manage their data through data lakes, analytics tools, dashboards, staff augmentation, which means that in companies that have certain gaps and resources, we have engineers and the talent that can help them fill those gaps to grow quicker. And also, our really last pillar is AI/ML, which is a hot topic today, artificial intelligence, machine learning, specifically around generative AI, right? So Gen AI. And those are areas that we're having success. What we're looking for client-wise, if you know anybody, is really that our sweet spot is going to be startup land and mid-market. That's where we spend a lot of time. And in fact, I'd say right now, about 60% of our, if we look at our pipeline, are startup companies. They're looking to, either start in the cloud, right? Or they're looking to migrate to the cloud, or they need assistance launching their ideas. So we have a lot of our engineers will sit on calls with these intake sessions with these leaders of these startups and hearing their ideas, what they want to do, and we become really the practitioner to what they're trying to build, essentially, in a lot of cases. So, but yeah, so Avahi, we are again a AWS Cloud Partner Advanced Tier. looking for opportunities that we could help companies to learn more about cloud, migrate. And it doesn't have to be an all-in-one migration. We do things like our hybrid, where we'll take certain more less strategic workloads and leave them behind, but start moving things over slowly to get comfortable with that adoption process. But yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff? Anybody working with companies that are migrating to the cloud or should?
There's a lot of folks out there that have the on-prem still, but the idea of moving to the cloud can be scary, and that's where we come in to try to make it a little less scary.
What would be a signal for us to identify somebody that was still on-prem? Like, because we're talking about other stuff there, like what would be a signal to say, well, maybe you need to talk to Jeff?
Well, there's not really a signal to know outside, but if you hear someone talking about their data center, right? If they're talking about their data center, they have to manage, or servers they're having to manage, the security, the power, the backup, all of those pieces that go into it, the people that have to actually manage and plug in and unplug those devices.
Got it.
If they're still doing that, that's where they need to offload that to a company like AWS, right? When you do that, it frees you up. And the best analogy I have, it's almost like if you're a chef, right? You don't want to have to chop all the onions, right? You want somebody else to be your sous chef, and that becomes AWS becomes a sous chef. They deal with, again, the power, the security, the backup, managing the servers. It allows you then, as a business owner or a technologist, to start thinking about the menu, right? And thinking about how you can deliver new technologies, and how to use your people that are doing busy, again, chopping onions. Allow them to code, allow them to build, allow them to develop and do those things and free them up.
Absolutely.
And honestly, there's a cost savings there too, a significant cost savings typically.
Thanks for sharing. We're going to keep moving so that we get finished at the top of the hour. So let's now go below the border to Luis Garizer. Are you in Tucson or are you in Sonora?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm in Sonora, Mexico. Just
okay.
2.5 hour driving from the borderline.
Congratulations on the work that you're doing, and when numbers matter, you can help. And so could you let us know who you would like to meet, please?
Sure. So yeah, we are Quadra Support. We started as a bookkeeping firm 7 years ago. Now we are offering nearshoring services for the US market. So we have joined to Beach Fleischman. It's a consulting, accounting, tax and audit company located in Arizona. Is one of the largest companies, private companies in Arizona related to accounting solutions. So what we're offering right now, it's the nearshore part of the services, and it's something that we can bring to the table to Global Chamber. It's to hire staff from Mexico to work remotely for US companies. And most of them are related to accounting. Everything that is from tax staff, managers, supervisors, or audit staff, bookkeepers, controllers. But also we have hired staff from different areas like administrative assistants, marketing specialists, and similar that can be obviously work remotely from a different country. So we do all the management for those staff here in Hermosillo, which is on the northwest of the country, just below Arizona. And we manage them. We have a nice office space here. So we do all the payroll, all the management for that side of the business.
You mentioned Beach Fleischman. Are you looking for accounting firms like that to partner with, or are you looking directly to companies to help them one-on-one?
Right, yeah, so that is part of our niche, of our market. It's other accounting firms that are struggling on finding accountants within the US.
Okay.
Or are looking to create an extension of their team in other country like Mexico. So we are pretty much in the same time zones. Location is pretty convenient because we have direct flights from major cities of the US. But also we are open to work with companies that are not related to accounting.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Luis, please?
Not exactly the question, Luis. There is a company, one of my old client. They are US based. They are flat fee corp. I sent the link there. They are doing the similar thing, but maybe partnering with them is a good idea because they're also always in the seek of partnership. So you can have a look on that and see if you need me to establish a connection. Happy to do that.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Priya. So yeah, we can contact outside a meeting and you can provide the content, and sure, I'm happy to schedule.
They are in California, so I'm hoping you will be good connection for them as well. Have a look
Okay,
on that.
very good. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's now go just north of the border to, I guess you're in Dallas, right, Jacob, right now? Jacob Dietz, who, boy, you're just doing so many really great things, and thank you for all the things you're involved with. How can we help you, and is there anybody that we can connect you to?
Yeah, so no, thank you, and it's great to be here with you all. So, I just have, recently sort of meandered into the world of consulting, and even more have now started to dabble with the idea of coaching. And so I'm just a little bit about Klimo Collective. Can everybody hear me?
Yep,
oh,
you're good.
So Klimo Collective is a consultancy and coaching firm dedicated to fostering sustainable development and entrepreneurship. So consulting services, what I offer can be expert guidance in strategy development and implementation, helping organizations navigate complex challenges and achieve impactful outcomes. And this new coaching division that I've just started to really put together is focused on empowering individual leaders and entrepreneurs to harness their unique leadership styles, aligning personal growth with professional success. So who I would typically connect with would be forward-thinking organizations, nonprofits, startups, and leaders who are committed to creating positive change and are looking for strategic and personal development support to amplify their impact. And so what I'm sort of in somewhat of a holding pattern in terms of like who I'm looking for and needs. And so, there are a lot of things, as Doug said, that are sort of floating around, great things that I'm working on. So sort of what I offer is just support for this group. And that's, I'm a connector first and foremost, and an unconditional connector. I believe in that's power of numbers, and it's why I've been so thrilled to be a global chamber member and continue to grow within this network. And so, yeah, coaching is a new thing, focusing on different styles, thinking about looking at connectors, experts, visionaries, the stars, but just trying to help leaders better define their style so they can have a better vision of where their company can go.
Very cool. I've got, that gave me a couple of ideas, so we'll follow up on that. Any questions for Jacob, please?
Jacob, I was just thinking, probably best offline, but there's a variety of tools that our research has developed that we're now putting in place with respect to the rewarding roll-ups. So two topics that could be of interest: one, those tools, but the other is there's a lot of change that we are affecting with these roll-up companies. So I think if you're game, an offline conversation would be great.
Always game. And yeah, I'll send you an email and we'll connect.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
But besides, you laughed at my joke on Doug, so I love you.
Yeah, always
Oh,
laughing.
that was a
Connected
joke.
with you on LinkedIn, Jacob. Let's have a chat sometime.
Great. Thanks, Bria. I'll look forward to that.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's now go north of the border to Rob Arthurs, also a longtime member and just involved in so many really interesting businesses and products and the food industry and cannabis and lots of good stuff. What's going on, Rob? What are you focused in on these days, and how can we best help?
So thanks, Doug. Nice to see you, and nice to see you all. Three things I'm working on right now is I've been working with a group out of India right now that are looking to set up in Canada. So I'm working with a couple nonprofits to build a showroom for their products. So we're bringing in, we've connected a couple of very large women entrepreneur groups in India. One of them happens to have 11,000 members, and they're looking to do an inbound trade mission to Vancouver. And so one of the things that we've proposed to them is, and them and a couple other groups, that we're going to build a showroom with desk size places for them to showcase their products or their services as we bring in people that may be interested. The biggest challenge about India becoming the new China is unlike China that has Alibaba and a directory of products, it's really hard pressed to find products in India in sort of a directory sort of thing. So they do not have anything, even coming from my government side. I went to my government contacts, my colleagues I work with, and there is no directory that comes out of India like an Alibaba. So we're trying to put together products and services and a showroom here in Vancouver to showcase those companies that are interested in the North American marketplace. So they use Vancouver as a stepping off point for the United States, as well as the port here, the closest port to Asia. So we'll use that as a stepping off point to go to Asia, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, etc. So there's that's one thing I'm working on right now. I'm also working on the third inbound trade mission on agri-tech from Germany. I've done 2 with the Netherlands, and I'm doing a third right now with Germany. There again, AI, life sciences that has moved into agriculture, and new up and coming things that are so cutting edge. I'm so blown away. I wish I could disclose it to you, but I've had NDAs with every company I work with, so I can't disclose what they're doing. But my God, agriculture is changing so fast in front of us, we can't even keep up. The other third, and probably the most thing that right now that I'm working on, is, I don't know if you guys have been reading the headlines globally, but entrepreneurship has taken a big hit, and it's being pushed by academics that everybody should have an academic degree if you want a job. And entrepreneurship has declined in both the United States and Canada and countries around the world. And so I've decided to dust off my group coaching thing again and make it affordable for smaller SMEs to get into a group coaching situation where we put together 11, well, there'll be 12 of them, but yourselves and 11 other people to become their board of advisor. And I'm making it affordable for these guys to make it so they can survive, because a lot of the young entrepreneurs do not have the money to pay me. So if I put them in a group setting, it may work out for me in a better way, but it also fulfills my mission of giving back to the community and helping entrepreneurship flourish once again. Because it's just, I look at coming from the government side. If you didn't have an MBA, you're not working for the government. It didn't matter how much life experience you had, you don't have a job. And those are the kind of things that we're up against in our marketplace. If you don't have a college degree, you're done. And so entrepreneurship's the way to go. So those are three things I'm really working on right now. And if anybody has any ideas or any way to plug in India, agri-tech, and by the way, it's on Zoom. So I've already got a company, or I've already signed up from New Jersey that will be coming on board as well. So it doesn't matter where you are globally, anybody can participate in the group coaching. And that's it.
Any questions for Rob?
For India, there is a government website for UP government has created for UP 70 district products, which is interesting. I can send you the link. You can have a look, and if anything we can help you on Australia side for Indians, we can talk.
That's awesome. And I'm also have a company. One of my companies I own is Ayurvedic medicine. So I do a natural medicines company where we heavily focus on ashwagandhas, rosewater, saffrons, and those kind of things. Biblical type medicines.
Thanks for the sharing. Let's keep moving. So Paul Martilla is in Southern California, and you're involved, I believe, with foreign direct investment and helping folks land in the U.S. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who would you like to meet, Paul, and how can we help?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm relatively new member, and Doug, you have a great memory. That's exactly what I do. So foreign direct investment and what I would call corporate location advisory and incentives negotiations on behalf of firms. And I'm really agnostic in terms of industry. I've worked across many different industry verticals with many different kinds of facilities, including manufacturing plants, call centers, shared service centers, R&D facilities, data centers, and the like. And I deal with companies who are making first-time investments in new geographies or expanding on site, or consolidating operations from multiple locations into fewer. So the challenge here for me is that companies are not moving around all the time. In fact, it's a very episodic kind of thing, unless it's a huge company like some of my previous clients, Procter and Gamble and Western Union and General Motors, for which I did a few separate projects. But the key thing is, whenever the question for the company is where, in other words, where they should best locate their facilities to produce optimal outcomes, not only from a cost point of view, but from a top line point of view, to their ability to meet their top line goals. So any company
which countries would they be coming from?
I've
the best ones.
The
best ones. Where are the best opportunities? Are there industries or countries that you would describe as best, or are you really generic?
Well, what I would say is that I would say most of the investments are coming from developed, so what I would call Western or first world countries. But in terms of destinations, it could be any. And
okay,
yeah.
So put on January 23rd, 2024. Come to the semiconductor summit that we have. There'll be 100 companies there that are most of which are thinking about coming to the U.S. And so. So those would likely then, if that's, they're all thinking about it. And we probably get you involved in some of the consulates. You already are in Southern California, but they're all, interested in helping companies, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, all of those.
Right. Great suggestions. And if I may take just 30 more seconds, the other opportunity would be for me to represent economic development organizations. In other words, agencies whose mission it is to attract and grow businesses in their particular geography. And I could do that for foreign countries from a base here in the United States, or for East Coast states. Yesterday, I was in New York talking to people there about representing them in Southern California and other Western states. So economic development. Thank you.
Our next LA event is December 7th, by the way. So, but you're in San Diego, right? Or where are you located?
San Diego, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a haul because it's downtown LA. But if December 7th could work, let me know, and we'd love to get you connected to the Global Chamber LA.
Great.
You mentioned New York. He's not in New York, but he's kind of close. Chris Bennett is in the DC area, and he's involved with intellectual property. We talked about entrepreneurs earlier, Rob was, and Chris helps them in a variety of ways, including on the legal side. Chris, who would you like to meet and how can we help?
Well, Doug, thanks for the intro, and I really appreciate the opportunity. As Doug mentioned, we do a couple of things. One is focus on helping entrepreneurs from historically marginalized and underrepresented communities to protect and monetize their innovation using intellectual property rights, things like copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, etc. That side of our house is global, and we're particularly looking at Africa. We're looking to connect with entrepreneurs from that demographic. And if you said, hey, describe the types of partnerships we seek to reach them, we're looking for, what we do is open to everyone, but we're looking for organizations that are connected to people of color, women, startups, and small businesses, as well as social impact and creatives. And that describes the demographics of our 100+ clients that we have today in the US, in Africa, and in Asia. We recently started spinning out a technology venture. So I'll give some respect to the gentleman who is an AWS partner. Our technology stack uses cloud, but we're building on Microsoft Azure for that part of it. We do have a multi-cloud strategy that also involves artificial intelligence, blockchain based on the Solana platform, and Web3. For that, we're looking to connect with social impact investors. We're really fortunate, and the Global Chamber, we think, helped us connect with some funding from a public-private partnership in DC recently. And we also recently made a presentation in Silicon Valley and received some seed funding for that part. So we have a specific round we're trying to fund for the technology piece so we can serve more entrepreneurs and creatives around the world. So if you have connections, we welcome it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions, please? And hearing none, we've got about 5 minutes, and I think we've got 2 more people. One is Lothar Solomon, who's a member of Global Chamber in Springfield, Illinois, and he's part of our Global Chamber Chicago Advisory Board. And he's got a consulting company that has resources around the world that helps companies get them at capable people at reasonable prices. And so, Lothar, how can we help you? Who would you like to meet?
I would like to meet businesses, companies that are looking for expertise, niche expertise, any kind of expertise. You know, ZG Worldwide has about 80 people in 30 different countries. We're across the US, and we have a big footprint in India where we have connections to we represent a number of IT companies and IPPC Group, which does a lot of outsourcing of accounting in the US, UK, Australia. So we can, you know, there is an accountant shortage that's been referred to by other people, and we're another provider of accounting services. My company is somewhat based on the same business model of Accenture, but we're geared to small to mid-sized companies. They have many capabilities serving many industries, and we do the same thing. So if you want to know exactly who is in our company, we have something called our e-pamphlet that gives an expertise summary for each associate in our global network. I don't know of any other consultancy that has something like this. You know, it's a little thing with a few sentences. So we're, you know, we try to, you know, make it easy to try to figure out what we do. And if you, you know, we're up to, you know, helping you, figure out, like I said, if we have a lot of niche people, very interesting stuff, and you'll find it on our e-pamphlets. I don't want to go into detail.
Technology, and there's a variety of healthcare people that have some really interesting products and services. Yeah.
We have engineers, architects, you know, we have lawyers and doctors, you know, like a doctor who coaches other doctors who are burned out, but a lot of niche kind of stuff like that.
It's definitely worth looking at, and they can go see that on your website.
Yes. Well, they can't see it on our website. Our e-pamphlet gives the detail. Our website.
How do they get the e-pamphlet?
Our website just gives a few.
How do they get the e-pamphlet though?
Yes, you can get the e-pamphlet through the website.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you can contact us.
Oh, okay. So put in the contact us, and then you'll send it.
Yes.
Very good. We've got about 3 minutes, and we've saved the best for last. Harold D'Souza is born in India, and he has developed a nonprofit, an award-winning nonprofit, was just recognized not just for the work that he's done in human trafficking, but also becoming a U.S. citizen. So congratulations, Harold, on what you've done in your life and career. Who would you like to meet, and how can we help?
Yeah, thank you, Doug, and greeting friends. I would like to get connected with everyone, especially all the entrepreneurs who are right on the call today. And I just want to share in a minute that I'm an ambassador for the United Nations, and I promote the 30 articles. And I always tell that every human being born on this planet should be aware of the 30 articles. Like Article 4 says no slavery, Article 5 says no torture, Article like 27 says right to education. So I have a non-profit organization called Eyes Open International, which is registered under 501c3, and it is focused on prevention, education, protection, and empowerment of victims, survivors, vulnerable populations, and community members globally. I just want to give a classic example. Like early this year in February, one family from Gujarat died while crossing from Canada to the US. They're trying to sneak in. They paid $100,000. So that is what I do. Like India, Mexico, Guatemala, Bangladesh is a source country, and America is a destination country. And there are many transit countries like Canada. So try to create awareness and prevention. So that's my passion. I'm having a very mega conference, Doug and friends, on January 18th. I'll send the details. Everything has got finalized. The main speaker is from the Pentagon, the Department of Defense. It's on January 18th. It's a Thursday, and it's the first conference in the United States of America where it is focused on labor trafficking and organized by a survivor advocate. And I will share that. So thank you very much. It's any way you can connect, collaborate. I'm more than happy. I'm on LinkedIn. And thank you very much, Doug and friends.
Fantastic. Thank you. And we just set our innovation summit, our next one, on January 18th. So I'll definitely want to find what time yours is going to be, and maybe there's a way to collaborate and have, you know, two events that are somewhat simultaneous or parallel or something. Thanks for all that you do. Congratulations. And that, I think, is the end. Is there anybody that we missed? We're right at the top of the hour. Thank you, everybody, for participating today. Watch for the LinkedIn post tomorrow. Connect up with each other if you haven't already. Reach out for this meeting once in a while. We do this on second Tuesdays and final Fridays. And then, you know, we do a lot of events. You can't possibly come to all of them, but come once in a while so that we remember who you are and who you're looking for. And you can always reach out anytime. Yesterday, we had a member who was traveling to Prague and to Madrid, and they just asked, hey, I'm going to be here on these dates. Who would you like to introduce me to based on these criteria? And we do those reactive things, but we also do the more strategic connections as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening here on this hemisphere. And Priya, have a great rest of your Wednesday. Congratulations, and thanks for joining today.
Thank you, everybody.
Pleasure. It's a noon. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everyone. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Take care.